Ta-da!
Hey, yay. Hello.
Yeah, I got to oh, yeah, Alien, I forgot to warn you. I haven't been streaming regularly, so the attendance on this has been
I know,
slightly
yeah.
lower.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Like, I'm okay. Even if no one watches, I'll have fun. It's always fun catching up with you and doing some work. So, yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
thanks. What have you been up to lately?
Well, I've been looking for a new job, of course. I've been living my regular life. Like, I've done a little bit of like fun employment in the beginning because I worked for almost 3 years, like nonstop. Didn't really take vacation except for like conferences and maybe like a little bit in between, but nothing really. So took some fun employment time, had some fun, and now I'm back to working and the job hunt, and I've been kind of enjoying it. Yeah.
Awesome. Conferences are
hmm
fun, but I feel like they don't really count for vacation. They're more of a
Yeah,
trade.
exactly. Like it's fun when you have like an extra day or something at that specific venue or well city. But yeah, it doesn't feel like vacation. Like half of the time, you're either stressed out because you are giving a talk or you're tired from giving the talk. One of both.
Yeah.
So yeah, or from travel. Like, I mean, last conference I did was in Singapore, which is like 14 hours flight away. So one, you're jet
Oof.
lagged, and two, you're very tired and you're stressed out, and so yeah. But it is a lot of fun. Like I really enjoy doing the travel and giving the talks and the workshops and everything else. But yeah, it is kind of hard sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. Was it CGS in Singapore?
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, how was that?
It was a lot of fun. Like it was really, really good conference. Like very well managed. It was, yeah. I had a lot of fun.
It's awesome. Is this from a previous year, this image here? I'm just on their site.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to see how many people we recognize because you and I have done a few. How many? Two, four
Well, I
conferences together?
recognize Aries there, and I think Evan, you should be there. Um,
Harris,
but Singapore was my first time, so I
Kyle.
don't recognize all of them. Oh yeah, Kyle Simpson is there as well. Oh yeah, and Evan, you is there on the bottom left.
Oh,
The yeah, there he is.
yeah. Cool. Funny.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Very
fun.
colorful photo. I've never
Yeah.
been to Singapore. What is that city like?
Honestly, it's very hot. Like you should look up the weather. It's super warm and very humid, but awesome.
Contrast.
Like the how do you call it? Like the environment is like awesome. It's beautiful. Um,
Oof.
yeah, yeah. The humidity is very
74%
high.
humidity, 10 o'clock at night. That's wild.
Yeah, yeah. And that one of the things that I really didn't like, but of course they couldn't hand. Well, it's not their fault. Is the time zone? Like it's so different. It's 6 hour difference from Belgium. So yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, you give a no
but yeah, it was
master
fun.
class. Also, hi,
Yeah.
Otherlord in the chat.
Hello. But
Cool.
yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Are you going to any other conferences anytime soon?
Well, my first one will be in September to Infobip Shift, and then I will
Ooh.
go to React Alicante as well. And of course, there is React Africa in November.
So you're going for the once a month, give or take?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
What is the website for React Africa?
React-africa.com.
Ah, Iris has got to work on that SEO a bit.
No, well, yeah, React Africa is yeah. Is it so? It's also very new. We're still working on
Mhm.
it.
Awesome.
But yeah, we
You have
already have the
a
first confirmed speakers. No, well, I'm an organizer.
yeah, yeah. How do you like being on the organizing side? You've been doing it for a little while.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, especially like the selection procedure is very hard because you always have to make choices. As in, you might only accept like 12 talks, which is already a lot, but you have maybe 20 or 30 very good talks, and it's very hard to choose. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really like it because we all always like meet new people, meet new friends, make connections around the world. That's a lot of fun, and that I love for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's tough for SquirrelConf for
Yeah, how's
context.
SquealConf exactly go? Yeah, I was about to ask how's that going?
Stressful.
Yeah.
We've been we've been as I think most first time conferences are, we've been delayed by a month or three throughout much of the
Yeah.
process. We've been holding
Hmm.
steady, even perhaps getting less delayed. But we're about to launch speakers, like announce the speaker list tomorrow,
Awesome.
Tuesday the 6th.
Ooh,
So we're hoping that'll
that's
pick up
awesome.
ticket sales.
Ooh, can you give us a little scoop, Josh? Give us a little scoop. People want to know the scoops. Come on.
People
Give us
want to know
one
the
name.
scoop. One
Give us
name,
one name. Yeah.
one name that hasn't been announced. Oof.
Yeah.
I uh I don't want to spoil anything. But I can say that if
Ooh.
anyone's interested, we have 3 names already announced. Dan
Ooh.
Bandicam, Rizal Scarlet, and Titian Cernikova Dragomir. So if any of y'all want to get
Awesome.
more information, we got this nice little subscribe on our newsletter button form
Ooh.
there on the website. Yeah.
Those are
Sorry.
awesome names as well.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you in private. I just don't want to, blow up this
Oh, no,
production.
no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Don't worry. I just wanted to see if I could like get you to give us a name, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It was a nice try. You almost got me.
Mm-hmm.
Tempting.
Almost. The venue looks really awesome as well, by the way.
Mhm. Dude, I'm so excited about this freaking venue. Uh
Yeah.
the Boston Aquarium. It's like right on the wharf, like on the water.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you look at
That's beautiful.
we had it. There we go. Theater RE, the fancy. It's
Ooh.
let's see if they have photos here. Hmm, where's the
Oh,
freaking
wow. That's
oh
beautiful.
yeah, that's not where we are. That's not happening
Okay.
for ours. I don't know what this is. I'm trying to see an image of the Simon's Theater. It's really pretty on the inside. It's really cool. Yeah, there it is. This is
Okay.
the whole
Okay.
thing.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. It is really pretty.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hype.
Yeah. Damn. It's a really big screen as well.
I've been telling everyone this because it brings me joy. We've been joking about having someone really boring come up after lunch so that we can try to do some kind of sleep trickery to see like who falls asleep. But none of our speakers are boring, so it's going to be
Okay. Okay.
not
Fly me over.
not
I'll do it.
engaging.
I'll do it. I'll do
Yeah.
it.
I got you. I would love to see an experienced speaker try to do the worst talk imaginable. Like, you know how like
Mm.
sometimes stand-up comedians or actors will like as a lesson like show a good and a
Yeah.
bad. I want to see the good and the bad in contrast. I think that would actually be really
Okay.
educational.
And that's true. It's true. Hmm. We could make something up.
Yeah. Well,
Can't be too hard. Intentionally doing something bad.
I think the hardest part would be us stifling all of our instincts of how to give a talk.
Mm.
What would you do
Yeah, that's
for
true.
a bad talk?
Um, Honestly, the topic wouldn't matter too much, but it has to be something that already everybody kind of knows. Like, not too deep, maybe, but like they already know something. It has to be like a lot of theory, no live coding, and you should talk one very slow, very like uni. How do you call it? Like no how what's the English word?
Unitone, flat
Uh,
affect.
yeah, unitone. Yeah, like don't use your voice like too much. Like talk on a very easy going thing and make everybody fall asleep and use a lot of like filling words that actually don't mean a lot. And
Mhm.
your slide should be all white or all black with then just bullet points, like nothing else. I mean, I can do it. I can do it. Don't challenge me. What else could I do? Oh yeah, no moving on stage at all. Just standing behind your desk with
Oh my
like your
god.
finger ready on the space bar to click and then move. Oh yeah, and no, before you move slide, look at the screen, then say, okay, yes, that's it. Click. Go to the next slide, then read it. So I mean, I can do it. I can totally do it.
Every time. For every
Every
slide.
time, for sure. Every
The
slide, yeah.
thank you
And it
slide.
only should have like, yeah, exactly. And it should only have like maybe 10 slides most. Like overfill them with information and no animations whatsoever. Just blam. Here is
Oh
it.
boy.
It it kind of should look like a spec sheet of like TC39. Kind of like that.
Uh, generator. I'm gonna try to find like an older one. Oh, ooh,
Hmm.
generator alpha. Something really.
Yeah, yeah.
Flynn, what's the deepest
That's a small one.
TC39
Well,
proposal?
probably. mm, yeah, look at something. Yeah, there. The yeah, that one. Yeah, and now
So
just
it's
start
just gonna be
scrolling.
this.
Yeah, it should be like that. Uh-huh.
Oh, look, a diagram. Object
Oof,
prototype
damn.
relationships.
Not boring enough then.
What what is this? I've never actually read through most of the like I'll
No,
like when I'll
of
need
course not.
to, I'll for like a specific thing, I'll like look at the specific thing once in a while, but like this is
Mhm.
not for humans to do day to day.
No, not really. But you see what I mean, like with the amount of text and stuff.
Yeah. Demian, hey, how's it going? Um,
Hello.
my first talk, I'm like weirdly proud of how bad it was a Medium blog post that was centered around, it was at, I think, Seattle JS, the meetup. Sorry,
Okay.
Carter. It was, I just like was really enthused about, of course, I'm on the
Josh,
wrong
what is that
profile.
picture?
Oh yeah, this is used to be my profile. It's me on me on like a kayak or something. I don't
Mm,
even know what I
damn.
signed in on with this. It was like this deep blog post. Zav,
Mhm.
Xavier, good morning. How are you?
Hello,
Zav
good
underscore
morning.
underscore E is one of the organizers of Boston TS Club. Shout out.
Hey,
Yay. We have, oh no.
I've seen you build that website multiple times.
Oh no. The deploy is broken. What happened?
It
God
seems like
dang it.
it's reloading all the time.
Oh
Open
yeah, we
your
built it with Medium.
network window. Yeah, it's because you're not using Asteroids because you're using Remix. Yeah,
Really?
look at that. Mm, mm, mm.
Well, that was unpleasant to discover.
Oops.
Why is it doing
Oh, and
this?
it's on every page as well.
Well, anyway, closing that tab. Uh
All your memory is gone now.
yeah, that was unfortunate. Oh man, I don't even know if this is still on there, but like there was this ancient there it is. This super intricate post that I'd originally posted on Medium.
Mm.
I don't even know if I still have backlinks on it. My god, there it
On
is.
Reddit, even.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, so these were my slides. Like I just went through this Medium post. Note the lack of syntax
Ooh.
highlighting, the lack of
Ooh.
anything. It
I
was
mean, how
awful.
long is that ago?
Like 7 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then it kind of makes sense.
Close
Everything was
maybe that
bad in
means
those days.
it was. People don't realize we used to have to support multiple versions of Internet Explorer, like as web developers. That was a thing.
True.
Have
I
you ever
never
had
had to
to?
do that actually. No.
Oh,
Well, I did, but like kind of already outdated at that point. Yeah.
what's the
I mean,
what's the
I've been in really in tech for like maybe 3 years. No, let's make that 4. I'm 25 now, so yeah, let's say from I started from 21 something,
mhm.
excluding
what's
education, of course.
what's the hairiest legacy support thing you've had to spend significant time on?
Good question. Actually, it was actually when the time when I worked in Belgium back, I did have to support some older browser versions because I used to work for like gas stations. Um, and of course,
Ooh.
gas stations kind of can be old-ish, but we also had to support like multiple IoT devices, and those IoT devices and like microcontroller computers could have been very bad or could have been
Mhm.
very old, and then we had to make sure that like was sufficient. But yeah,
Ooh. And you can
no,
was this
actually,
running Node?
yeah, no, well, PHP mainly, but the IoT mostly was Python.
Ah, Python. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, it was literal like bit shifting and stuff. Like,
Ooh, cool.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very cool job though. I learned a lot. Like, in I was like a cloud native programmer, whatever you call it. Like, basically, I was doing the whole full stack application, but also making sure that yeah, communication between devices went very well. One of those devices was, for instance, like electric charging poles. You know, where you charge your car. Um, yeah, It's called
Ooh,
ITT, and then yeah, you have a couple of like protocols. Um, yeah, it was cool.
that is cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, it's 10:16 my time, which means it's a good time to
yeah.
segue into starting the stream.
Ooh,
Elian, let's start the stream. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you?
ooh. Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Elian. I'm a Belgian dude, and I'm an Astro maintainer. I worked at Astro in the core for the last year. Now I'm still on the job hunt. I'm working with React Bricks at the moment as well. I'm doing some open source stuff and talking at some conferences. Yep, that's it.
Cool.
It
What's
is actually very cool.
yeah. What's the plug for React Bricks?
Well, it's basically the hybrid in between a CMS, like a headless CMS, but also like defining your blocks as a developer. So basically, the developer builds all of your blocks and all of like the inputs, but the marketeer can like interact with them, build everything. Like, hey, this title should be editable, and then you can edit it as the marketeer. So basically, it's the perfect hybrid. You can call it like the new WordPress in a sense, but then based for developers and specifically on React. We're working actually. I don't know if I can say this actually, but we're working on an Astro SDK as well.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it is honestly very cool. I really like it,
It is cool.
and it's also
Yeah,
very like DX friendly. It's not too hard. It's basically like you can see there. So basically, you write the text, and the text is editable for your marketeer. You give them an account, so it's very easy.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Cool. What do you want to do for the full-time job?
I'm working on the DX. So
Mhm.
I'm basically working right now to make the developer experience as smooth as possible, making sure to develop, well, not the developer side of things, but also like the 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 features are like communicated well to both the marketeers, as in customers, and the developers, and making sure, of course, that documentation is well maintained and clear. So I'm trying to take basically all the experience that I gained from like my Astro time and putting it in another product.
Word. How did you
Mhm.
how did you get into DX? That's not something that traditionally is the final, degree or boot camp certificate people get.
Oh no, I basically I because of Astra. Like I started. Mm, Let me think. Actually, how? Basically, I started contributing to Astra as like no code contributions, which is what you might say the DX field mostly is in a sense. Started talking about Astra. I started contributing to simple CMS guides, for instance, like how to use CMSX with Astro. Um, and I started. Oh yeah, I should probably change all those titles and stuff. But yeah. So then I started talking about Astro. People started talking to me of like, "Hey, do you want to come and speak at my conference?" Then I started doing that. Then I got promoted to maintainer inside of Astro, and then got asked to go and work there for a year, and I did, and it was cool. I did a lot of fun
Cool.
stuff.
You made the brutalist. What's the theme called?
Yeah, yeah, it's brutal for Astro. Yeah,
Brutal theme
yeah.
for Astro. And what does brutal
hmm
refer to?
Well, this specific style is called neo brutalist.
Mhm.
So if you search for like the neo brutalist styling, that's like one of these things. Um, Yeah, neo-brutalism is the thing.
Very cool. Oh, hey, that
Yeah, it's
that looks
like
like yours.
for yeah, I was about to say there is yeah, Gumroad, that's the one. They have it really, really well. But they actually have real designers and stuff. I'm not a designer, but I designed this theme specifically at a conference when I wanted to redo some stuff.
Mhm.
And actually, it's really fun because I can redeploy it, and the colors will randomize. So I have like a full palette of colors, and every deploy they change automatically because it's just
Oh,
basically a random generator that will pick one of the color schemes, and then it will be random.
that's so funny. I hadn't
hmm
I didn't notice this at all, but now that you mention, I feel like I remember this being a different. It's like yellow
Yeah,
or something last time I looked at it.
it can be anything. Yeah,
That's so cool.
it can be anything. Yeah, the thing is, my latest talk is about make the web
Okay.
weird and fun again, and I talk about all of this. So, for instance, one of the latest talk that I did at CDJS Singapore, for instance, had like a physical MIDI controller, so a audio synthesizer basically, that actually I could push on the buttons and the opacity of the website would change. I built a website, no, the other one, the talk itself. Should be.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, you're. Yeah, yeah. Um, so, for instance, one of the things I did as well is like Web HID, where you can, for instance, attach a PlayStation controller. But the thing is, you can do anything with those. Yeah, this is an actual API. It's still experimental, but it's really cool. And I attached those to, for instance, the opacity. So you could increase the opacity or increase the alpha value on a color with just a PlayStation controller. Just like it's very stupid, but my idea was we can make the web fun again. How do we do that? Why don't we do this more often? For instance, one of the things was the battery API. There is a battery API inside the browser. Did you know that? Navigator.battery. Yeah, it's only there. So what I did is basically you get the battery. If the battery is, well, basically get the battery percentage, attach it to the opacity of the website. So what means
Ah,
is that if you have a full battery, you can see the web page. If it has 0% or less, then you cannot see the web page. Stupid fun stuff like that. You can even detect if it's charging or not charging, and you can totally change your website on that. The thing is, so what I did stress is I do a lot of like stupid fun things with it, but you can actually use this in the good sense as well, like the battery API. Why would you use it? Well, for instance, if you're running a lot of animations, if you're running maybe some web GPU thing now, then you can actually like use less of them if your battery is lower,
yeah,
for instance.
that makes total sense. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can just.
it's super easy.
I'm one. I'm guessing one out of one.
Yeah, one is 100. Yeah, but you can also get the charging, like, am I charging or not? All of that stuff.
Charging. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know this. Huh.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
I
exactly
love
why.
that.
Like, this is an API that actually is shipped into the browser, but like, no one knows about it.
Ooh. Let's
So yeah,
see.
it was a lot of
Here's a
fun.
battery. Gives you a battery manager. Huh. Awesome.
Hmm.
That's fun.
Yeah. Oh, for instance, like one, if you actually you have the Wayback Machine open, right? Go back to like maybe a year ago,
Sure.
yeah, and try something like in January, like one of the earliest ones. I think that might be my old website still. Older version of that website, I mean. Yeah. For instance, this one, it might not actually work because it used a lot of JavaScript. Actually, you had a color picker, and if you clicked on a color, because you have it in native in the browser as well, um, it might not be working. But
Yeah.
basically, you could change the details of the colors and the underlines with the navigation picker, which is a thing. How is it called again? The color picker inside the browser. I forgot the name. Color picker browser API. The eyedropper API. That's the one.
Eyedropper. They
Yeah.
don't normally use colloquially sourced terms or like terms that started off as a colloquial, but the I literally it comes from like eyedroppers, like
From the
that's
eyedropper. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's also like an experimental API that you totally can use. And I used it to change the background color of my website. Yeah, and it
Awesome.
basically just gives you a string of the value. Yeah, that's it. Now you can pick a color.
Ah, oh, this is I
Are
see
you
where
that
this is
blind?
going.
Yeah,
I'm that impatient. I just go for the first one. That seems
yeah, yeah.
what?
No, I think it's literally broken, but yeah, it should. Yeah, that's the
I
one.
won.
So yeah, you see, it's like there is a lot of fun in the website. For instance, if you use Arc browser, have you ever used Arc browser?
I keep trying to get into it. I keep trying it and then can't stick. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it doesn't matter too much, but basically, Arc browser actually injects CSS variables inside like your website, so you can totally use them and change the color of your website real time with those variables. You can detect like, hey, what if I have a color scheme defined? Then basically change my website to look like this.
that's awesome.
You see, the web can be weird and fun.
Ooh, Max AI. Yeah. So going back to DX things,
Yeah.
the original spark for the stream was that you and I were looking for an excuse to stream together, and we just had TypeScript ESLint V8.
Basically. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we just launched the next major version of TypeScript ESLint V8. Type for those who haven't used it, TS ESLint is the tooling that lets you run ESLint, Prettier, and other standard JS tools on TypeScript code.
Hmm.
The Docs website, I don't think it's bad. We've occasionally overhauled it or gone through audits, but it's been a while since we've had a lot of thought put into it. And
Hmm.
I don't know that we've ever had someone alien like you who like specifically focuses on DX, like from the outside, really come to our team or
Yeah,
come to our website and take a look at it.
yeah,
So I'd love to
that
use
makes
this as
sense.
kind of
Hmm.
yeah, as like an example strategy of like, say I was just an arbitrary company with a product or SDK or something.
Hmm.
What would you, Alien, try to do if I was coming to you and saying, "Hey, can you look at my stuff?"
Basically, it starts with the website, right? So I open the website, in this case, what we see now. And then you see that you have two call to actions: get started and playground. So the first thing I would do is just either try to understand what is the product from just the homepage alone. And then second, what happens when I do get started. Those two are like the most important things. But I mean, it's personal preference, of course. But yeah, so here I would basically check what is TypeScript ESLint. That's basically the question you want to answer, which is the tooling that enables ESLint and Prettier to support TypeScript. Makes sense. Um, One thing that we should keep in mind is that this is for like a specific audience, right? This is already for people that know what TypeScript is, what Prettier is, what ESLint is, because otherwise they wouldn't have TypeScript ESLint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter too much. You do not want to um, explain what ESLint is, what Prettier is, and what TypeScript is. You want to explain what TypeScript ESLint is. Um, it, I mean, in a sense, right? So it makes sense to put on the marketing page, like for instance, what you have there below, which is ESLint is an awesome linter for JavaScript code. That makes sense. But you kind of expect people to already know that they know what ESLint is.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just
Can
trying
you scroll?
to.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I realized I forgot to do this earlier. I'm gonna set up my notes and just start taking notes, but I'm gonna quickly hide just
Yeah,
in case I open them and show some secret API key or something.
yeah, yeah. No worries,
Links,
no worries.
notes. There we go. And boop. Okay.
Ooh,
And we're back. I don't know what that just did to the stream. Hopefully nothing terrible. Cool. So sorry, you were saying.
nope. So I was saying that it makes sense that your audience already knows what ESLint, TypeScript, and Prettier are. Yeah, exactly. Put it like that. Yeah, audience likely knows what it is, because
Mhm.
otherwise, why would they be searching for TypeScript ESLint?
Word. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Good
that
to know.
makes sense. Yeah. So scroll down a little bit on your page. On
Oops. Down to here.
yeah. Uh-huh. So one question I have is, why do you show ESLint and TypeScript but not what Prettier is? Is that a specific reasoning you have? Because
No,
ESLint is, if you describe it like ESLint is TypeScript plus Prettier plus ESLint, why are you only showing two of the three tools? Well,
that's a great
that's at
question
least
that
what I
no
would
one has
think. Yeah.
asked us.
Well, probably it
We
is because people already likely know what it is, but still.
Mhm. In our experience, there are large segments of people who are starting out with one of them, let's say TypeScript, and then they Google how to lint TypeScript, and then they go to our homepage, and then
Right.
they don't understand the difference between the linter and the type checker or programming language.
But that's exactly a problem. So write that down. Like that's a problem you have. So that should be solved by either your homepage or your documentation, because that's a literal thing that you know already that your audience sometimes asks.
Yeah, the prettier thing, we've just never thought to put it on the homepage.
Hmm.
In our docs, we have at least a couple of pages that are very explicit that a linter is not a formatter, that the formatter is not at
Yeah.
all relevant to us, that we're a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
But we just
Yeah.
never thought to put it here.
But mm, yeah. But why though do you then mention prettier? Because you're
Why do we?
very clear that it. Yeah, you do. Because yeah.
Ah, um, yeah, this
So why is it
tagline,
there?
because it's true. For end
Hmm.
users, we're not related to Prettier, but on the inside, Prettier uses us. Like the Prettier has a
Right, but does that
dependency on
matter
TypeScript
then?
ESLint.
Yeah, but that why would I care? If I install Prettier, I
Great
install
point.
Prettier, not TypeScript ESLint. So maybe it shouldn't be there. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just thinking out loud here. Like,
Yeah,
feel
yeah, yeah.
free to, yeah.
I'm thinking the reason why we
Mhm.
have it was because we wanted to. I think it's an established credibility thing where
Yes, but
um,
that's different because here you're saying this is a tooling that enables ESLint and Prettier to support TypeScript, which is true, but it's you make it feel like, hey, we run ESLint and Prettier. What you should do is, hey, Prettier uses TypeScript ESLint to enable TypeScript or to enable TypeScript or types to the end user. So you should change the wording there. Um, or maybe go to the Astro homepage might be a uh, good reference there because they literally say, hey, used by some of the largest companies around the world, which are Google, Microsoft, and everything else. Because you totally could do that. Like you can scan for
mhm.
dependencies and see what projects are using you. And it wouldn't hurt to just have a little bit of like a just like this, for instance, like a little bit lower on your page to have like, hey, we're used by all of these companies or all of these other projects.
Yeah. I'm summarizing in notes. There's a difference between
Yeah,
like
yeah, I know.
credibility or social proof and the like.
Yeah,
Here's why you care about this as a user.
yeah. Basically, what I'm searching for in that like tagline would be what TypeScript ESLint is in a nutshell, and it is that. But I would stress more like it is tooling for the linter that enables TypeScript.
Hmm. I would
Does
even
that
say
make
that
sense?
it does make sense. Ilya, it's been like 5 minutes and you've already completely changed how I want this homepage to look. This is great.
Okay, good.
I would,
Then I'm doing my job well. Okay, good.
yeah. In terms of value prop, it's really twofold, which I realize is confusing. You should only try to explain one thing at a
Mhm.
time, right? First, we enable ignoring pretty or ESLint to work with TypeScript. Like if you want to lint your TypeScript code with ESLint, you have to go through us. Secondly, we add in a
Mhm.
bunch of rules, like a bunch of ESLint rules that
Yeah,
are tailored to or must use TypeScript. So that's an additional value prop there that we've been trying to convey to users.
yeah. Mhm. Well, my second question now that I read your website, it might be a little bit of a different thing here, but so basically your H1 is TypeScript ESLint, right? And then your H2 is what are ESLint and TypeScript and how do they compare, basically. But I think it should be more what does this project exist? Because um, ESLint and TypeScript, they don't compare. Or you should rephrase it differently, I think, because now you're making like an assumption where you will compare something, but you're not actually comparing something. You're just saying that explaining both tools. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Basically, you should say build on ESLint and TypeScript. What are they? Something like that. A better wording, but um, something that more answers that question.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
You never answered the question. Yeah.
Hmm. In playwriting,
Um. Yeah.
there's a concept of, or in narrative stories, there's a concept of Chekhov's gun or Chekhov's pistol. The idea that if you bring something up, you should then use it. Like if you bring up a gun,
Yeah.
someone should get shot or something.
Hmm.
We have this pistol set up. This how do they compare? And then it's never referenced later in the homepage.
Exactly. Exactly. And then whatever that is, then you just change that section. Yeah. Okay. Can you go to the what? Why does this project exist thing? Okay, let's take a look at that. So TypeScript ESLint enables ESLint to run on TypeScript code. That basically is your tagline, in a sense, because that is literally what it does. It TypeScript ESLint enables ESLint to run on TypeScript code. Makes sense.
Boom.
It brings the best in both tools to help you write the best JavaScript or TypeScript code you possibly can. You see, that makes a lot of sense because there you actually are answering the question that basically is your SEO already. because
Yeah.
what does the tooling that enables ESLint and Prettier to support TypeScript is actually not relevant anymore here.
Yeah.
Then ESLint and TypeScript represent code differently internally. ESLint default JavaScript parser cannot natively read in TypeScript specific syntax and its rules. Yeah, basically you're just stressing that second paragraph there that ESLint by default doesn't have TypeScript. So maybe you can make it a little bit easier, but the average person, I guess, understands what this is.
Ah,
And then you and then you summarize allows ESLint to parse TypeScript syntax, correct, creates a set of tools for ESLint rules to be able to use TypeScript type information. I think that's worded a little bit too complex. It is true what it says, but I think it's a little bit too complex because you're throwing a lot of buzzwords in a very short amount of time. Like creates a set of tools, sure, for ESLint rules, sure, to be able to use TypeScript type information. See what I mean?
yeah.
Um, I
Complex
would,
sentence structure.
yeah. And
Also, most users
go ahead.
don't care. Like, why would an end user care
Mm,
about the process of creating rules? That's like a lint plugin developer thing, 1 in 1,000.
sure, but you still should
Question
notify
mark.
them that they can, in a sense, right? Because your audience is both to plugin developers and to end users. So you should address both. Provides a large list of lint rules that are specific to TypeScript and use type information. Yeah, that's a very good sentence. That last one, I think that's totally fine. Then you have your sponsors, which makes sense. Financial contributors, that makes sense. The TypeScript ESLint would not be
Yeah,
possible without a generous. That makes total sense. Then, of course, you have them all listed, makes sense. What I do find a little bit weird is that at the bottom there, become a financial sponsor is there. Makes sense. See all financial sponsors. If you have more, sure. But why is there a random like docs that actually goes to sponsorships file? Click on the docs link. It goes to it. Well, it is true. It basically is the documentation of sponsorships and what it does mean, but it's not worded well. It makes you feel like you go to docs, which doesn't make sense to be there. I would change it like more like um, why become sponsor or your um, mm, basically like what's my perk if I sponsor, maybe something like that or something, or that's the question that you should answer with whatever that CDA is.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. The context there is that we had people keep questioning like, when do I get on type things, or like
Yeah.
we had a fun story. We had a project
Hmm.
or a organization sponsor us that we, to put it nicely, did not think aligned with our moral values, and at the time we
Right.
had basically no docs. So then we set up
No, but
this
that's a
fun
very
little
good thing.
listing.
Like it, I totally understand why it's there and what it means to have it there. I mean, that's the same thing. Like in Astro, we also have, for instance, the governance model. Like, how does it work? You you have it defined. Yeah, the governance it's basically yeah. You can find it. It should be yeah. There it is. It's a little bit differently, but it has the same goal. Basically, like what does it mean when I'm a contributor and like what are my rights? Like I'm a maintainer, what does happen? Or basically I was AstroCore because I was paid to work on AstroCore. What happens now that I'm not anymore? It's all lined down there, so there is no discussion possible. It's very clear. Um,
Mhm.
it's not I'm not saying that you should do this with your project or with this project because it might be
Sure,
very different. Um, but I mean that like it's there and it's the same thing. I'm just saying that the word docs doesn't hold any value to sponsorship. I would
makes
change it
sense.
to be more of like a question or like read more about sponsorships, something like that. Okay, I think that's the homepage mostly. Basically, everything else is the links, which is very good. Um, TSES link, basically, yeah. Oh, do you have a lot of questions tagged? Oh, yeah, you do. Cool. I was just checking the Stack Overflow. I actually don't use it ever. Not really.
Yeah. Once in a while, I'll go through. I've got a bookmark newest TCS lint with
Mm,
answer zero, and I'll I'll just
Yeah.
kind of skim through these when I have random spare time. It's a good
Hmm.
way to build cred.
Yeah, for sure. And it's built with Netlify. Okay. Well, yeah, by
Deployed on
Netlify
it, yeah.
and with DocuSars. Yeah, yeah. Do they sponsor you?
Not according to this homepage, but the deployments are
Uh,
free, so
hmm.
that's
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of
Okay.
is a
So
sponsorship,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
No, well, yeah, that was basically what I was asking. Like, do you want to like? It's maybe is a wrong question, but like, do you want to advertise them because that's what you're doing? Not saying that it's wrong if they give you something for it, you should.
Yeah,
But if they don't hold any value, why would you?
yeah.
But
It's
yes,
the
okay.
you. It's like the standard. If you put the logo in the footer, then we'll deploy you for free thing.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Like
That's
at the like
perfect. Yeah.
open source fancy tier, not the free one.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I know. Perfect. Okay, so then we should go to, I guess, click the get started link because that's what you have one, two, three times on the page. Which is fine, by the way. Maybe it isn't actually. What's the value to you to having the getting started link both in the what are ESLint and TypeScript section and why does this project exist? I would
We
go ahead. I'm interested.
the backing idea. This was me, and actually, I remember one or
Hmm.
two of the teammates making fun of it. Um, the
Hmm.
idea was no one should ever be on the page and not have a CTA visible to them. It's like an old growth
Yeah.
team tactic that I picked up,
Okay.
and we didn't really know
Hmm.
what to put on the page other than the get started CTA for that.
Mm, okay. I'm thinking if I go to docs.astro.build, which is, of course, the homepage of Astro, well, of the Astro documentation, sorry, because they do this very well, or we do this very well. I'm still part of it. Um, there is a lot of CTAs here. Not saying that you should have as many, but maybe you should try to have some kind of similar thing, like install ESLint, you could say, or like read more about comparisons, or just have different wordings that actually do the same thing you can do, or take you to different pages. Like, for instance, it's totally fine to have getting started at the top, and then maybe a little bit further down where you have why does this project exist, you might have like link to learn more, and then have or to the concept, or to um I don't know, like ESLint rules or whatever you want. It can be a CTA, but it doesn't have to be the same one three times. You have more than enough in your documentation to actually have a couple of different ones, I think.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Hmm. So if we click on the docs, yeah, then we go to quick start page. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. So maybe you should guide me a little bit through your documentation and thinking why it's structured that way. Let's start with the sidebar. I think that's always a very good one.
hmm Yeah. So they're kind of three sections or three layers that people go through. There's the very
Hmm.
basic starting, like the get started one, which kind of blends to
Hmm.
troubleshooting and FAQs.
Yeah.
Then there's the you're getting deeper, like you're learning about our release management or like the preset configs. And then
Hmm.
there's the developers part of it, which
Right.
mostly
The
has like
plugin
docs,
developers then.
uh, uh, such as those. Yeah, like for example, Prettier consumes the parser or for TypeScript ES tree.
Right.
So like anyone who uses
Yeah.
our tooling, such as a plugin developer, we actually have a PR that got approved and might go out today, adding a building custom plugins or ESM plugins
Okay.
under there.
Okay. 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 Yeah.
We also have
Okay.
our contribution and maintenance guides, which I would lump under there or put as like a fourth section.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. That's funny. Below, like maintenance is basically more of like your contributor guides, actually.
Yeah, this is like how we run the project. Like it docs in the open kind of idea. Like when do we
Yeah.
ping
Yeah. Yeah.
people in as a member of the team, or like how we do like issue triage.
Hmm. But what's different between maintenance and contributing? It's both the same thing.
Contributing is what you as an external person would look at. Maintenance is what we as internal people use.
Oh, okay, so that's your internal thing more. Oh, interesting. Okay. So basically docs for your docs. Well, docs for your internal organization.
Yeah,
Okay. I would name that differently, I think. But I mean, that's not the biggest issue.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm quickly reading through some things. But yeah, go ahead and talk me through if you want or whatever.
Sure. So we assume that if someone is in quick start and getting started, they're
Yeah.
probably one of two user stories. One is that they have an ESLint configuration and that they are
Hmm.
now adding in TypeScript, or they have TypeScript and they're now adding in ESLint.
Hmm.
Most users start with TypeScript in our experience, and then go to
Yeah.
ESLint. Like that's just what we've been communicated about. So we kind of optimize for that one. So
Yeah. Hmm.
either way, we tell people to install all the dev dependencies they need, and then this is like the very basic starter ESLint config file. And I'm now
Hmm.
realizing we don't have any kind of guide for you already have ESLint file. Now add TypeScript to it. So that might be a thing.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah. Well, you do have typed linting. Um, yeah.
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 So this is something we've constantly struggled with for users. We've this one of the things we probably put the most effort into explaining the difference between just because you can support TypeScript syntax or even have TS rules in your lint config doesn't mean you're
Hmm.
using the more powerful typed linting or linting with type information or type aware linting, other people have started calling it, where
Okay.
lint rules they're like there's a whole other additional set of lint rules that use type checking information, not just TypeScript syntax.
Right. Okay. 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 Makes sense. So you do, yeah, you have the link to the new configuration files. That makes sense.
By the
And
way,
you
to
also
the
have legacy guides. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
to further stream chat, while at any point, but especially while Elian is pouring over our docs, if y'all have any questions or comments, please let us know. We're happy to answer. This doesn't have to just be a quiet stream.
Oh, yeah, for
Daniel,
sure. What's up,
what is up?
Daniel?
How are you?
So
We
you
miss you too.
you automatically assume that people are using ESM, right?
Um, we we give them the ESM config because that's what ESLint encourages them to do, and we tell them to use a .mjs file. But
Yeah.
we I don't know if we still have it. At some point, we used to, or maybe we at one point considered having the like const require the CJS in there. But yeah, we just tell
Yeah.
people
I
to use
mean,
ESM.
I would. Yeah. Yeah. I would do the same. I was just wondering, like, yeah. Hmm. So you, yeah. Hmm. I mean, this quick start page does make a lot of sense. Like, there is nothing that I see that I think like, oh, this is not done well. So that's good.
Yay!
Not that I'm like the most angry person, like, oh, you should do it like this. I'm just a dude trying to make it better. Um,
The Kuhn alum.
the details section is kind of a bit weird to me. Um, you see what I mean? Like, it's very, very random. Like, what does details actually mean? So, quick start, you have installation configuration running ESLint, and then details, and then you have basically tips or something more. Um, and also, like, it doesn't give a lot of context. Like, you see dot 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 tslint dot configs dot recommended, but what does it actually mean? Like, what's the context? What's the goal of the detail section? I think you should redefine that a little bit.
That's a good point.
Everything else makes a lot of sense, I think. Yeah. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going to the linting with type information, which is basically the goal, right? You install. So getting started, you install it basically in the quick start, and then linting with type information is basically what you want to do. So
Mhm.
that makes sense to put them together and to have them like as one. Hmm. But their name, yeah, that makes sense. So um, the first code block we see there, um, that is basically updating a normal ESLint to using TS ESLint, right?
You talking about this one?
Yeah,
This is taking a TSES lint and then making it type informed.
yeah. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yes.
But you're removing some code there, and you're
Yeah,
not
which
really telling us what happens. See what I
mm,
mean? Like, you have. I think maybe I can give you a really good example about that. I think, for instance, I'm always going to take the astrodocs, right? So in the astrodocs, you have. Um, Let me find like a good thing here. Basically, what I would expect is a little bit of explanation, like, "Hey, this is what's happening in the next code block," like the following, and then have the thing. So basically, what I would add here, so you have clear instructions. That's good. Like add type check, blah blah blah. But you're basically already showing that. So half of the people will not really read what it says, but just copy that code block and do what it says, which makes sense. But if people want to know what they actually did and why, there is no why here.
mhm, makes sense. Yeah.
Um, and what's so you have a caution link there, like a little bit below the node where you're looking at. Um, what is the goal of that caution block?
We had a few users complain to us that import.meta.journame wasn't working for them, and then turns out they were on an older version of Node.
Okay, so yeah, that goes to practical project issues. I get errors telling me ESLint was configured to run. Okay. I wonder if that actually works well enough, but that if it's only a few users, it might not be that important. Um, the thing is that the way you word it, like your ESLint config file may start receiving a parsing error, but I would frame it more like if your ESLint config file is doing this, this is the solution, and we describe it here, which
Oh,
is way
sorry.
more clear.
You said caution note, and I stopped at
Yeah,
note. My bad. Okay.
yeah,
So I
that
didn't
one.
actually answer what you were asking for. Yeah.
Okay, no
Sorry. What
worries.
about this one?
So basically, look at the wording of what it says. So your ESLint config file may start receiving. Basically, what you're saying is, hey, watch out, it might be broken. You shouldn't phrase it like that. You should say like, um, if your ESLint config at this point um, gives whatever error about this, you can find the error reference here, or this is likely what is happening, and give them a clear solution. Because now it's like, see our tsconfig inclusion FAQ, which basically means, hey, we have an FAQ, go look at it, and we don't care. You should
Mhm,
be more clear, I think. Does that make
that makes
sense?
sense. Yeah.
Okay, good. Mm, and then, yeah, with that done, run the same lint command as you ran before. You may see new rules reporting based on type information. Same thing there, like that sentence. So you have with that done, run the same linting command as before. That makes sense. But then you may see new rules reporting errors based on type information. No, you should because you are configuring types. So
Well, if your code was fine to begin with.
yeah, sure. But the thing is, you should phrase it differently. Like, if you have any errors in your types, you should see them now. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid wording, I guess, but I think it will be more clear. I'm probably like, um, in 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 Belgium we call it ant fucking here, which means that you're basically making a very big thing out of something very small,
That really.
but it will help you. Yeah. Yeah. See, is ant fucking even a phrase? Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
It. Yeah.
Well, we
It's a
say making
Dutch
a
thing.
mountain out of a molehill. If you're something very
Yeah.
small, you're making a big
Yeah.
deal out of.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Well, same exact same meaning. Yeah. Ant fuckery.
Fuckery. That's great.
In Dutch, it's more fun. Um, Mierenneuken, to be exact, in the exact language. Okay, so then if we scroll down, you go to the FAQ, and then you have a couple of things. But what's the difference between having the FAQ there on that page and not in troubleshooting and FAQs?
Uh, I don't remember why this was advocated for. I think it was that these are the questions people at the time immediately, like very
Yeah.
often, came to us with.
Hmm.
But that's a good question that I have not thought to answer before.
Yeah. Okay. What you could do, though, just a suggestion, is either putting like a resources header on the bottom or something, or like common problems, and then just refer them to the FAQ with literally like, if this happens, click here. If this happens, click here. If this happens, click here. Because now it's a little bit weird, especially if we get into like the troubleshooting section. But I'll talk about that when you're done typing.
Hmm. Yeah, actually, this used to be asked about a lot more when we didn't have
Hmm.
good support for like Project True and then Project Service. So this, at the
Yeah.
time, might have been more relevant, but even especially now, it's.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. For instance, like one of the things that I find a bit strange because it's under your FAQ, is, for instance, how is performance? Like, this is a global thing. This is a general thing. This, why is this specifically under linting with type information? I know why it is, but I mean, it shouldn't be there. It probably should be more on like your homepage or your quick start guide, like, or like, I think in Astro it's called more like why Astro, or um, there you have like the thing, because it's more of a general thing, right?
I mean, we only have performance issues when, I mean, practically speaking, we only have performance issues
Mm.
when it comes to type linting. Otherwise, it's almost identical to ES6.
Oh, so that's why it's there. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So what's then the difference between linting with type information troubleshooting and how performance thing, and typed linting performance, which is in your sidebar as well? You
Well, one
could
of them got
combine
written at
those.
one point, and the other got written at another
Yeah.
point, and I think that's
Yeah,
a good
probably.
point.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Yeah.
And then you have monorepo configuration. Okay, that makes kind of sense. But I wonder why monorepo configuration is in troubleshooting. It should be more of like a guide thing. Like, hey, we have a guide on monorepo configuration. Or multiple ones, because it's one root, one this, one that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, of course. All of this is my opinion.
Yeah, the hard thing there is that the only monorepo configuration that folks have had any problems with is figuring out the TS config or performance issues
Yeah,
from the TS config, which
right.
is like we don't have a guide for that. It's just it works
Yeah.
unless you screw it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Mm, okay, okay. So I'm looking at the FAQs frameworks page, one, your sidebar titles. I don't know if that's configurable, but you should change them to be a little bit shorter because now it's
So
just like a very long thing that no, the other ones, the right ones. Yeah. You see what I mean? Like it's a little bit weird. But I don't know if Docusaurus allows that. So I mean it automatically does that, I know, but
yeah, good question.
I mean it doesn't matter too much because it doesn't actually affect anything, but
I'm curious if we can customize that.
yeah, table of contents. I think you can.
It's the table of contents. I always forget which is
Yeah.
which. Customizing. There's something about non-markdown ones don't show up. Work in progress. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Hmm.
you can look into it later.
No, I
Doesn't seem
mean
like
it's
it's
fine then.
immediately.
Yeah. No, the thing is that it's just very long, and then people might, yeah. But don't worry. But I was wondering about the first one. So I use a framework like Vue that requires custom file extensions, and I get an error like you should add blah blah blah. But the thing is, what is a non-custom file extension to you? Is that just like TSX and TS that you consider non-custom?
The, well, there's the laundry list of file extensions that TypeScript natively supports: JS,
Yeah.
JSX, TS, TSX, and so on.
So you just should say non-default TypeScript file extensions. Because custom file extensions to me sounds a bit like, what is a custom file extension? Like, I don't know if other people would struggle with that. I probably like I would understand what it means, but um,
Yeah. I don't know if a good. It's a good point. I don't know if a good phrase to use for that, because every
yeah,
framework calls it differently, and TypeScript
yeah,
doesn't have a concept of it internally.
yeah.
What does custom
Hmm.
like it's custom like has its own?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what is a custom file extension? Like,
Yeah, it's
dot
one that's
asterisk is
added by
custom. Yeah,
the
sure, but yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
yeah. Probably I would go with something like non-TypeScript file extensions, and then say not like Vue, but like dot Vue, that you instantly know. Oh yeah, this is a not TypeScript extension or something.
Sue.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Also, I'm just realizing it probably makes. What do you think? Putting the note below the code. 'Cause I feel
Yeah,
like the note is less important than the code.
yeah, true. Mm, what I do find very well is that, like the way you typically like in general like word the FAQ questions. Let's say like I am running into errors when parsing TypeScript in my .vue files. That is very clear. Like this is the problem I have. This is the solution I should do. So that is I really like. Um, it's not all bad, of course. just making sure you know.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to look at the users page, shared configs.
Oh yeah.
So users versus developers. What? How do you define both audiences?
We went back and forth on this so much.
Yeah.
Everyone's a
Mm,
developer, so
exactly. Yeah.
it's whether you're so like our end users are typically people who are writing an eslint.config file, and
Right.
that's a very small subset of that is people who are writing ESLint plugins or like custom
Hmm.
things with our tooling, mostly
Yeah.
plugins.
Hmm. Okay.
We couldn't figure out phrasing to
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree that it's very hard, and I probably also wouldn't really know how to do it better. Hmm. Like it's building custom rules mostly, and it's also like an open sidebar, right? So they probably will know. Okay. I mean, it's fine to leave it like that, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, interesting. So you have the releases version under users. So you release a version every Monday. Mm-hmm. So you do an automatic release every Monday, basically at 1 p.m. US Eastern time to the latest tag. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this is basically just explaining how you release stuff,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, um, you see that? I'm thinking about this. Wait. Because in a sense it makes sense, but I would structure that page differently. I think. I think you can make it. Um, so it's very good that under like the Canary version, you have like installing Canary versions because people might actually think like, "Hey, I want a Canary version," so that I really like. Um, you link to the publish Canary version step. That makes sense. That's all commits on main. That makes also a lot of sense. The only exception to the automatic, yeah, that's very good. Okay, but then you have major releases. We currently do not have a set of scheduled stuff. See maintenance to perform a major release. Like
Why is that?
this is something that's for you internally, right? So it
Yeah.
doesn't belong there to me. Yeah. And then we do not backport releases. Yeah, that's yeah. I would put that in a caution or something or like a danger block instead, because it doesn't need to be like an H3 whatever. Like in your table of contents, it shouldn't be there because you don't do it. So,
Fair.
in my opinion, of course, I mean, people might say that in a sense it's very good to have there because you would easily find it and know that you don't do it. But
Yeah.
nope,
I,
I would
I'm
just remove it.
I'm in my head going through what it'll be when I bring this
Hmm.
feedback to the team, and I already know that one of our maintainers, Brad, is probably going to say,
Yeah,
"No, people keep asking about it. We need it as a heading."
yeah. But I mean, then it's fine. Like if you have someone that specifically feels defensive about this because you get the questions, then it does make sense. But if like no one questions it whatsoever, like it doesn't make sense to have.
Yeah. Cool.
Mm, why do you feel like you need versioning as a thing? Like why couldn't it be under just your releases as a second heading or something?
It's a good question. Does
Because
this
both, well,
need
both
to
go
be?
together, right? Um,
Yeah. I actually kind
I'm
of think.
thinking. I don't think Astra actually has a like versioning reference or something. It might. have it
Mm.
somewhere, but not sure.
Yeah, this page is so rarely useful. It's super useful when it is,
Well,
but like when
yeah,
it
I was about to say the difference between something like Astro and TS ESLint is that you're building a tool for developers that have you as a dependency, whereas Astro is a framework that uses other tools like yours as a dependency. So the goals are different here. Um, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's not something that I can speak about because I have not a lot of experience like publishing in those contexts. But
yeah, we this comes up sometimes. One of the things that's
mhm,
always irritated me is that most of our users are like the users, like just they want to know
yeah,
about our rules and how to configure type info. But then we also
mhm,
have random things like AST spec and visitor keys that like
yeah,
they don't care about.
hmm, yeah. But I think that's like always the main goal, right? Like defining your exact audience and making sure you one cover all of them, but also like cover each group like as specific and as easily as possible in a sense. That's why I do think like it's good to have your user section, your developer section. The thing is that it's just very hard to differentiate between the two because of the naming, one, but also like developers only has one thing, which is building custom rules. So
Yeah,
it's the same thing that I feel about like contributing versus maintenance in a
yeah.
sense.
By the way, we should no, no, not that one. We should probably this is gonna be merged very soon. Like it got approved and I'm gonna merge it. So I'm just gonna send over
Yeah,
our preview deployments to you and in the chat.
yeah,
It's boop, boop, boop. I sent it in all the places you and I are hanging out.
yeah. I already have it. It's fine. It's fine.
Cool. So this is what it will be in
So get
an hour
started
or
there.
two,
You have
couple
building
hours.
custom rules and building ESLint plugins. Yeah, that's way better. Yeah. Okay, so let me take a look at that. So now we have building custom rules. This page describes your own custom. Okay, so you're referring instantly here to the ESLint developers guide by default. Okay, yeah. Is there a specific one you could link to instead of like all of them?
For the important.
Yeah. I
What
would
do you
say
mean
create
by
rules, right? Custom rules. Well, so if you click on it, yeah, you see just
Mhm.
um, what I mean is just basically I'm alien. I know I want a custom rule. I have no experience whatsoever. So I read custom rules. I go to ESLint developers guide and I just see ways to extend ESLint, create plugins, create rule tutorial, custom rules. I'm not sure which one I should do. Probably it would be custom rules. Um,
Yeah.
but if we can guide them like directly there, might be better. If that,
So
of
you
course,
only really need
yeah,
oh excuse me, hiccuping. You only really need custom rules. Whew.
yeah.
Nice. That's a
The funny thing is that you do it with the create plugins one.
oh, they have two links for this? This is unfortunate.
There
I
is
wonder which one. Hmm?
no worries. You can link to both. I mean, okay, it's maybe a little bit longer, but you could totally do more. Maybe that is also why you did link to the um, to all of them by default because there is no correct one. Might be.
Yeah. What I can do is I
Then you
can
just
link to this
yeah
and file an issue on ESLint to back reference the tutorial. This comes
yeah.
up
One, you
in
could
this
do that, but
too.
also you could just change. You should be familiar with the ESLint developer guide. Change that to just you should be familiar with the tutorial and the creating rules, whatever, blah blah blah. Which could be just a workaround for now until you get the PR approved for ESLint itself. Could also be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So I'm checking. So utils package, that makes sense. We recommend using TypeScript ESLint utils, AST extensions, which is on the same page, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And typed rules. Those are all internal links. Okay, that makes sense.
Actually, I'm now realizing it should be 4. We recommend using our rule tester.
Huh, and this is already approved. Ooh. Nah, no worries. That's why I'm here, to hold you back from merging.
Yeah.
If you are sure you want to do this, you can use ESLint rule creator without docs. Interesting. How much? I'm thinking like you're not really advertising it, so that makes sense. But
I'm just curious now who uses this.
I would guess. Ooh, TL draw, really?
TL Draw. Prisma.
Oh no!
Oh, but
Let's
ESLint
send them
local rules
PRs.
kind of makes sense. Yeah. The problem is this
Let's write
mostly
their
is really
docs.
done
Yeah,
in like local rules thing. Oh,
yeah, internal stuff probably as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite a lot of it actually.
Yeah.
DevTools as well.
That's cool. Oh wait, hang on. I hate how it doesn't
Oh,
filter the node modules.
makes sense.
How do you? I always forget how to
But
do
node
this.
modules, people don't push their node modules, do they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, some. And that's Chrome DevTools.
Yep.
Hmm.
Some repos do it intentionally for
Yeah, for sure.
reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then also minus repo TypeScript ESLint TypeScript ESLint. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Interesting.
Solid. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. I'll post it in the chat.
The rule options I really like. It's really well explained, really clear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Of course.
Yeah, Daniel. Solid. Daniel for reference is I'm sorry, what's your exact is it you're on the DX team or I forget
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
he is.
Y'all are setting up some rules that don't have a link to their
Ooh.
docs.
But
Without
it's a
docs.
community. It's a
Yeah,
community thing. So
it's a community thing. With great header, by the way. Look at that.
that's true.
The fact that you're using custom TypeScript rules at all puts you in my book so far above the norm in a good way. We'll forgive a
True.
lacking docs link for the rules.
What? So the rule tester, yeah, that's the thing you're still going to change, right?
The fourth mention of the 3.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
actually, wait. This might be another. We have to change this in TypeScript ESLint 8 because ESLint 9 changes the parser is the actual parser, no longer a string path to it.
Okay. Oh, cool.
So either I have it in PR or I might have already merged that PR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that might be that this branch is out of date. Well, either way, I'll make sure that it's good to go.
Sure.
Nander, how's it
Okay,
going?
Hello. I'm going to move to the ES plugins page.
Okie dokie.
So, what's the exact difference between plugins and rules? So, a rule is just
Mm.
one set, but a plugin is a published set of rules?
Yes, we actually added a glossary on ESLint docs
Okay.
recently because it's just everyone like these are not intuitive terms. They don't
Hmm.
exist elsewhere in the industry. Well, they're not intuitive until
Yeah.
you have the intuition. So a
Okay.
single rule is something that operates on one file at a time to report complaints. A plugin is a collection of rule definitions with some other things. The most common, some other things, is a shared config, which
Right.
you can have as a collection of rule settings. You can also publish shared config
Hmm.
standalone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. Okay. The thing is, mm, yeah, I'm thinking about like, should you be the one to explain that difference? But no, actually, it should be ESLint. It's always hard, like especially with a superset of a package in a sense, because you don't want to answer everything about ESLint because that's not your job. You're just here to answer the questions about TS ESLint.
Yeah,
But still, yeah, it's a hard distinction to make.
yeah. A lot of people do not like that we have to add so much
Yeah,
pedagogy
that's
or
exactly what I
explain
mean.
stuff.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, yeah, everything else in the ESLint plugins kind of makes sense. I really like that you have the tip C ESLint plugin, blah blah blah. The example thing, that's very good.
Yay.
Then properties, yeah. So the mm, 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 it's not nothing you can change, but I do think that it's kind of confusing that. So in the ESLint plugins and not in the ES custom rules, you have then the rule creator usage. I mean, it makes sense because that's what you're doing. Um, but it's like, huh? But I'm making a plugin. I'm not making a rule. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's also nothing you can change. So I know.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with because like this is
Hmm.
plugin wide, right? The docs description.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. That's a good guide there. Building ESLint plugins. Yeah.
Thanks. I do wonder how often it is that the more recent a page is written from a consistent developer team, the higher on average quality that page is due to
Oh,
us
sure.
learning over time how to write better
Yeah,
pages.
yeah, yeah, for sure. The problem is also like, um, how do you improve on pages? And like, once a page is like fully written, it's very hard to make it better in a sense. Like, if I wrote the, for instance, like the first guide, I think on, well, something, doesn't matter what project, but like if I build the first quick start to a project and then have to improve it, it's way harder than actually just rewriting it after 2 years and starting from scratch. You will have two different pages. Whereas if you're like improving on it, it's way harder,
Yeah,
especially if you're the one that wrote it initially, because you always know what you mean in your own words, right?
yeah, yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. I think we're actually mostly through. Like we didn't do every page, but I mean, like all of the sections we kind of did. Um, I mean, the packages we didn't really do, but that makes a lot of sense. Like you have different ESLint packages. What are they and what do they mean?
Yeah, these are most of these users don't really look at. I mean, parser
Yeah.
gets some because of the ESLint stuff, but like we
Hmm.
haven't even filled out the AST spec. We just added like a week or three ago. This lovely thing auto generated.
Yeah, I'm looking through it right now. Oof, that is a very long one.
Yeah, part of why we didn't add it for so long was because well,
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
huge.
It is huge. Damn. But I mean, it makes sense. Probably it's not people that actually want to have that, well, see that thing. The thing is that you're probably likely to get on this page if you just use the command K Algolia thing, right? If you're searching for something that AST specific, you're probably getting there.
Yeah. Oh, we might have problems. Our search index keeps not happening.
Did you rerun it? Because Algolia, you have to rerun every time you do a new deploy, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to automatically go once a week on like Monday a few hours
Okay.
after deploy. And
Yeah.
status idle, recent 7 days. Okay. Success ignore. Okay, yeah, it should run later today. Yeah, cool.
Very. Mm,
Oh my god, I started writing ESLint stamp of approval. I think it's been auto correcting your name. Either that or I just messed up.
you're
Right.
you're stuck too much in the ESLint zone.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, found a note. Need to update that. V8.
Well, not really, right? Because as of V8 of V7 of TypeScript ESLint and ESLint 9, most users should be using this.
You're right.
Doesn't mean necessarily that it's in Astrodocs we do that differently, kind of, but it's good. It's all right. Because the V8 at the top, what does that link to? Just the release notes? Yeah, it does. Okay, makes sense. Cool,
Cool.
cool. The packages thing, is that automatically generated from like the readmes,
Um,
or is that manually
no,
done?
it's
Oh,
manually done. Um,
interesting.
we once in a while talk about trying to make it more automatic, but the readmes are really sparse. They basically just point to the packages page. So our goal recently
Hmm.
has been more to flesh out these MDX
Yeah,
pages rather than the
I
readmes.
remember there being some discussion about that as well inside of Astro when we released something. Let me check. I think it was in the. Let me quickly check where I can find a page like that. Ah, yeah, this one. Mm. Yeah, we did it like the other way around. So basically, I'll put it in chat. So basically, the npm, the Astro slash lpnjs, just points to, hey, if you want to read the actual docs, go to the actual documentation where it is maintained. Which is also interesting because if you have to do like maintain both versions, that's annoying.
Yeah, I do like how
And yes,
yours also
Nander, I am
includes
Belgian.
support information.
Yeah, yeah, and contributing guide. Yeah,
Could add that in. I like
you
that.
could.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very clear what it does. You have like, hey, this is what it is. This is where the documentation is. This is where you can get help. This is how you help, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've gone through the website. You most the
We did.
amount we have time for. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always more
No,
to
no,
go
it's
through,
fine.
but you've gone through
Yeah.
the important and second most important docs.
Yeah. Did
We've
you
got a
kind
whole
of?
bunch of feedback here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was about to ask. Do you have what you kind of expected that you would get from it?
Yeah, I think what I expected to get is like a fresh perspective that would show just how much of this has become like legacy corrupt in a sense, in the doc sense,
Mm.
like phrasing that no longer really applies. I think
Yeah.
just starting back from the beginning, like the biggest thing is
Hmm.
that we bring up questions and references to problems that we don't always solve or tie into what people are actually looking for. I think we
Yeah.
got to rephrase.
Exactly. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What would you like? Let's say that this was like a client consulting call. What would you suggest be done next on our end?
Fixing it. No, it always depends like what kind of project it is, right? So this is an open source project as well, so it's different. But yeah, you should definitely like try to write this down somewhere in like actual bullet points, like in your actions. Like we want to achieve this. This is how we should change, or this is like a question that we get often. This is how we should solve it. Something like that, and then sit together with your governance team or whatever how you would do it. Like I imagine you don't have the power to just change all of it this alone, right? There is at least some kind of discussion involved. Um, so probably you should open kind of a discussion, and that could be per page, that could be per topic. And you could do that on GitHub even. Like for instance, GitHub discussions is a thing. You could open it there and then say, "Hey, homepage improvements. These are our current issues that we defined. We would like to solve them. How do we do that?" And then either write a proposal or either discuss on how you could solve it.
That all makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, and that probably should be the same for either every page or for every problem you have. Yeah. So for instance, yeah, the homepage is a very clear, distinct page, right? But it might be a little bit more um, difficult whenever you get into docs, because in docs it's basically um, like for instance, if you go the phrasing between developers and users, that's not just one page that you're referring to, but you're referring to one problem and how you solve that problem. So you should try to feel what makes more sense.
Yeah,
I think yeah, that's probably what you should do now, or what your action points would be. Um, Define pages, write proposals, and then go from there.
love it. We will do that, and I will report back to you once we start
Yeah,
finalizing this.
I mean, I can if it's in GitHub discussions, I can always chime in.
Cool. Thanks. What are your next steps? What are you going to do with all this information you've collected today?
Me? Well, I'm going to do. Well, I'm basically working with, as I said, React Bricks on exactly this. Like I'm helping them um, define their audience better, like grow their community and all of that stuff. So I'm actually doing this as a job. So I'm trying to go and keep this up and hope that it actually works.
Cool. Well, thank you for giving us your valuable job expertise and effort. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, no worries. I love to work on open source stuff, and of course, I love to work with you. So win-win, I guess.
I am a little disappointed. The last time we streamed, if I remember right, it was you and a couple of other people
Mm.
just ripping me apart brutally and gloriously. It was awesome. It was exactly what I was looking for. You were so kind and supportive in this stream. You know,
Well, but the thing is, I can be kind. I can be very angry as well. But the thing is, no, you're doing a great job. Like this is very good. I know how hard it can be to maintain a project this size and do this. It's different because your personal website is very personal. This is a thing where you have a whole team and you have to make weighted choices. So it's different.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
I guess.
distinction.
Yeah. Mm.
I do sometimes wish that I could just have the time to, just do it. Just to take it
Yeah.
all over, do it all myself.
Yeah.
Infinite time, infinite resources.
Hmm. Yeah.
Never to be.
That is a very common problem. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, we're running out of time, and I'm gonna have to go for lunch soon. Is there anything else you
Yeah.
wanted to cover while we have each other?
Not really. The only thing I can say is we're opening our React Africa ticket sale soon. We have React Brussels open.
Woo.
React Paris is on the way. We have a couple of other things coming up, so keep posted. Go follow me on X. Go follow me everywhere you want. I'm at Alien Codes everywhere, which is my name. And I hope to see you around soon. And I am actually building my own website. Well, rebuilding my own website with, of course, React Bricks to both gain the
Ooh.
DX and yeah, and feel the product a little bit better. So expect a new version of my website coming soon with actually some really cool stuff that I'm going to publish as well. But we'll see
Ooh.
about that.
Is there any chance that work in progress website is open source?
Nope, there is no chance
Oh,
of it.
no. Oh well.
Not yet, at
Cool.
least. Yeah,
Well, I look forward to seeing it. And thank you for this. This has been great.
of course.
The last part of every stream is to find someone to raid. So let me just bring up that
Ooh,
stream manager.
hard, 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 hard.
I know. Is there anyone in
Who's live?
particular
Who's
you want to
streaming?
nominate?
Let's see. I don't know any one of these ones.
They changed the UI. It used to be simpler. So I'm gonna
Can
search
we
for
just look at only, yes, software and game development stuff?
mhm.
Ideally, we would do someone that is active in open source, but
Yeah. I don't know. Ooh, plus following. Is anyone following? Oh, teach this
oh,
person.
teach. Yeah, let's go
Yeah,
teach.
awesome. Well,
Cool.
thanks everyone for hanging out. This will be uploaded to
Bye
YouTube
bye.
within the next few days. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we mistimed it. Now we have like 2 seconds left. All
Oh no.
right.
Oh no.
Cool. And